There's a woman getting off the subway in Gangnam at 7:15 in the morning. She's not wearing makeup. She's not carrying a skincare bag. She stops at a crosswalk, and for a few seconds, sunlight hits her face directly. Without looking down, without even thinking about it, she reaches into her coat pocket, pulls out a small umbrella, and opens it. Not because it's raining. There isn't a cloud in the sky. She is 58 years old. If you guessed her age from across the street, you'd guess wrong by at least a decade. Somewhere else right now, someone is standing in front of a bathroom mirror surrounded by 11 bottles. A vitamin C serum, a retinol cream, a peptide moisturizer, a $40 essence she bought after watching a video that promised it would change everything. She has spent more on skincare this year than most people spend on a vacation. And her skin still looks tired. What if the gap between these two people has almost nothing to do with what's in their bathroom cabinet? Here's the equation almost everyone believes without ever questioning it. Better skin equals better products. More serums, more actives, more money spent, more youth preserved. It's the foundation of an entire industry. And for most people, it simply doesn't hold up because the equation is missing the one variable that actually explains most of what happens to a face over 40 years. That variable isn't a product. It's the sun. A widely cited 2013 study on facial aging, published in the journal Clinical, Cosmetic, and Investigational Dermatology, found that sun exposure accounts for somewhere between 80 and 90% of visible facial aging. Not genetics, not sleep, not the serum you spent your paycheck on. The sun, quietly every single day, doing more damage to your skin than almost everything else combined. And this is where the habit that woman on the street was practicing stops looking strange and starts looking like the most important 5 seconds of her entire morning. Habit 1. Sun avoidance is not occasional, it's automatic. In much of the West, sunscreen is something you remember on a beach vacation. In Korea, sun protection is closer to a reflex than a routine. Umbrellas on clear days, sleeves rolled down instead of up, sunscreen reapplied mid-afternoon without being asked, SPF worn indoors, near windows, on cloudy days, because UV doesn't check the weather report before it reaches your skin. It's not vanity, it's math. If 80 to 90% of visible aging comes from one source, avoiding that source consistently for decades will always outperform any cream trying to reverse the damage after the fact. Habit 2. The skin is touched gently or not touched at all. Watch how skincare actually gets applied in Korea, and you'll notice something most Western routines skip entirely. Nothing is rubbed in. Toner, essence, moisturizer, all of it is pressed into the skin with flat palms or light patting fingertips, never dragged, never tugged. This sounds like a small detail until you understand what repeated pulling does to skin over years. Skin has limited elasticity, and the same motion, repeated daily for decades, wiping, rubbing, tugging at the eye area with a cotton pad, adds up to thousands of small mechanical stretches a year. None of them dramatic on their own, all of them compounding. The instruction isn't complicated. Whatever you're putting on your face, stop dragging it across your skin and start pressing it in instead. Habit 3. The air in the room matters as much as what's on the shelf. Korean winters are dry, and Korean homes are famously overheated by underfloor heating systems that strip moisture out of indoor air fast. Rather than fighting this with heavier creams, the far more common habit is controlling the air itself. Humidifiers running quietly in bedrooms, especially overnight. Here's why that matters more than it sounds like it should. Skin holds on to its youthful look largely through water content in its outer layer. When the surrounding air is dry, moisture pulls out of skin faster than any cream can replace it, a process dermatologists call transepidermal water loss. You can apply the richest moisturizer available, and if you're sleeping 8 hours a night in air with no humidity, you're fighting a losing battle every single night. Fixing the room is often more effective than fixing the routine. Habit 4. What goes on the plate shows up on the face, eventually. Kimchi, doenjang, fermented soybean paste, staples of Korean daily eating that happen to be rich in the kind of live bacteria increasingly linked, in early but growing research, to gut health. And gut health has started showing up in dermatology research as connected to skin inflammation and how skin ages from the inside. Nobody eats kimchi thinking about their pores. It's just dinner. But a plate built for decades around fermented, low-sugar, vegetable-heavy meals is doing quiet, invisible work that no topical product can fully replicate. Habit 5. The stress on your face is often stress from somewhere else. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and cortisol does something specific to skin. It breaks down collagen, the exact structural protein responsible for keeping skin firm in the first place. This is why two people, the same age, eating similarly, using similar products, can age visibly differently if one of them is carrying constant, unmanaged stress and the other isn't. The facial massage rituals woven into Korean skincare, the gentle pressure along the jaw, the few unhurried minutes at night with a jade roller or simply two hands aren't only about circulation. They're one of the only points in a day where a person is required to sit still, breathe, and do nothing else for 5 minutes. The massage is the excuse. The stillness is the mechanism. None of these 5 things is a product. None of them costs $40 a bottle. None of them will show up as an ingredient list on the back of a serum, because they're not ingredients. They're decisions, repeated so many times over so many years that they stop looking like decisions at all and start looking like just how a day goes. That woman with the umbrella on a sunny morning isn't doing something complicated. She's avoiding the one thing responsible for most of what aging actually looks like. Touching her skin gently instead of dragging it, sleeping in air that isn't drying her out overnight, eating in a way that quietly supports her skin from the inside, and giving herself 5 unhurried minutes that lower the stress hormone working against her collagen the other 23 hours of the day. Not one product. 5 ordinary decisions, repeated for decades. If one of these caught you off guard, tell me which one in the comments. I read every single one. And if this changed how you think about what's actually aging your skin, there's a lot more of this waiting here. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.